The art of the gentle no. Making boundaries feel less like confrontation and more like self-care. Welcome back to the Grounded Circle. Today, we are tackling a topic that I believe is the foundation for so many of the conversations we've already started having here. Boundaries. We've talked about the myth of having it all. We've talked about the exhaustion that comes with being the strong one. We've talked about the pressure to keep showing up, keep achieving, and keep taking care of everyone around us. But here's the thing I've realized. We don't learn how to protect our peace. Those conversations stay theoretical. Because awareness is powerful, but awareness without action doesn't create change. And one of the biggest actions we can take is learning how to create boundaries, especially when it comes and feels uncomfortable. I know boundaries are a word we hear everywhere right now. Everyone talks about setting boundaries, protecting your energy, saying no, prioritizing yourself. But I want to talk about the part that we don't always acknowledge. Why does it feel so hard? Why does a two-letter word like no feel like such a big confrontation? Why do so many of us feel guilt, anxiety, or even fear when we think about disappointing someone? For many of us, it's because we were taught directly or indirectly that being needed meant we were valuable, that being the person who could always help, always fix, always show up made us dependable. And being dependable is a beautiful quality, but there is a difference between being dependable and being constantly available. There is a difference between showing love and abandoning yourself. And I think a lot of us are learning that difference in real time. I remember a specific Tuesday about 2 years ago. I had a looming deadline for my book. My kids had back-to-back basketball tournaments. My schedule was already full, and honestly, I was already stretching myself thin. Then a friend reached out and asked if I could help plan a big community event. And immediately my brain screamed, no, not because I didn't care, not because I didn't want to support them, but because deep down I knew I didn't have the space. I knew my plate was already full. But my mouth responded before my brain even caught up. Of course I can help. And I remember hanging up the phone immediately, feeling that heaviness. That little feeling in your stomach that says, why did I just do that? Over the next few days, I was trying to do everything. I was working on my book late at night. I was managing family responsibilities. I was helping with the event planning, and I was exhausted. Not just physically exhausted, emotionally exhausted, because underneath all of it, I was resentment. And that was the part I didn't want to admit. I wasn't resentful because someone asked for help. I was resentful because I had ignored my own needs and then expected everyone else to understand how overwhelmed I was. The truth was I hadn't communicated about my boundary. I had said yes when I really meant I don't have the capacity for this right now. And the result? I spent 3 nights barely sleeping. I felt disconnected from the things that mattered most to me. And honestly, I didn't do my best work on either the book or the event. That moment taught me something very important. I was trying to buy approval with my time. And eventually, I ran out of that currency. I think so many of us do this. We give our time away hoping it will communicate something about us. That we are kind, that we are generous, that we are reliable, that we are worthy, but our worth was never meant to be measured by how much we can carry. When we struggle to say no, it's often because we've confused being helpful with being good. We think if we say no, we are failing as a mother, failing as a partner, failing as a friend, failing as a professional. But a boundary is not a rejection. A boundary is not a punishment. A boundary is not a wall built to keep everyone out. A boundary is simply a gate. It's the gate that protects what matters most. It protects your values. It protects your energy. It protects the commitments you've already made. Because when everything has access to you, nothing gets the best of you. And the people who love you don't need the exhaustion version of you who is running on empty. They deserve the version of you who is present. The version of you who can show up with intention. The version of you who isn't giving from a place of obligation, but from a place of genuine love. That's why I call this the gentle no. Because boundaries don't have to be harsh. They don't have to come with anger or a long explanation. Because, and sometimes we believe we need to defend our boundaries with a 10-minute explanation. We give reasons, we give details, we try to convince people that our no is acceptable. But a boundary does not require a courtroom defense. You are allowed to honor your capacity. You are allowed to recognize that this season of your life requires something different. You are allowed to say, I love to help, but I don't have the capacity right now. Or, thank you for thinking of me. I am not able to commit to that at this time. Or even simply, that doesn't work for me right now. And then allow that sentence to stand. No apology, no guilt, no over-explaining, just honesty. Here is the grounded challenge this week, and it's very simple. I want you to practice the gentle no. Not a dramatic no, not an angry no, a thoughtful, intentional no. Before you automatically say yes to something, pause and ask yourself, do I actually have the capacity for this? Does this align with my priorities? Am I saying yes because I want to or because I'm afraid of disappointing someone? And then notice what happens inside your body. Do you feel tension? Do you feel guilt? Do you feel relief? Pay attention. Because sometimes the discomfort we feel when setting a boundary is not a sign that we're doing something wrong. Sometimes it's a sign that we're doing something new. Protecting your time is not selfish. It is stewardship. It is recognizing that your energy is valuable. Your purpose is valuable. Your peace is valuable. And you cannot continue pouring into everyone else if you never take the time to refill yourself. Boundaries allow us to love people without losing ourselves. They allow us to show up for our families, our careers, our dreams, and our communities without disappearing in the process. So this week, remember, a gentle no today can create a more wholehearted yes tomorrow. Thank you for spending this time with me inside the Grounded Circle. Until next time, stay grounded, honor your journey, and remember, you are allowed to pursue your purpose while still honoring yourself.